Hey there, Mark Brown. Most speakers don't have any clue what's keeping them from getting booked.
Yeah, but today we're going to find out from someone who knows all about the booking process. In a moment, you'll meet the inimitable Jennifer Lier. Let's do this, Darren.
Anyone can give a presentation. Few deliver unforgettable presentations. What's the difference? You're about to find out. Welcome to the Unforgettable Presentations Podcasts with your hosts, world champion speakers and coaches Mark Brown.
Your life tells a story, and there's someone out there who needs to hear it.
And Darren LaCroix.
Stage time, stage time, stage time.
Ready for some powerful presentation ahas? Let's dive right in.
Mark Brown live from the Vegas studio. We are here with Jennifer Lier.
Sweet. And just for those who may be unfamiliar, Darren, give us, well, you know what, Jennifer, how are you today?
I'm excellent. How are you today?
It was so funny seeing you rushing in from wherever you were coming in to be live with Darren in his studio. And, you know, our topic today is what keeps you from getting booked. And for those who are unfamiliar with you, in a snippet, what's your background with getting booked for speakers and all that, so they know an idea of who our expert is today?
Absolutely. So currently I'm working with Executive Speakers Bureau, and I've been there for 6 years as a bureau agent. So if some people don't know what a bureau is, it's an agency that books speakers into clients' events and conferences and their maybe company meetings. It doesn't look too much different from that, but there's some variables. And been blessed enough to be with them for 6 years. Like I said, incredible team, one of the top 10 bureaus in the country. And before that, I had my own business. Actually, I started my own bureau back in 2015 and built that right here in Las Vegas is where I started. And then I went national and had an incredible time, yet it was a lot. So when executive wanted to bring me on, I was more than happy to say yes.
They had systems. They had big systems in place to kind of make it in a support team that you didn't have.
It's exactly right.
You spend all day booking speakers, talking to prospective clients. So you know what keeps speakers from getting booked, which is why you're here and why you're at Game Changers.
Yes.
We just recorded a podcast with Ford and we did one with Jerry before that. So we're trying to line up our ducks in the row. Sorry, Mark Brown, go ahead.
And for the record, Darren, Jennifer has booked us our best gigs in a long time.
Ever. What's this in a long time? Ever.
Hey.
So we attest that she knoweth whereof she speaketh. Okay.
And I will say one thing on that while we're on that quick subject is that it is very difficult for you to negotiate your own gigs. It's so hard to negotiate your own events. And some people don't know the value of a bureau. And the old adage is you don't need a bureau until a bureau needs you, which is true. And we can touch on that for a second. But the biggest thing is to have somebody negotiating for you, because they can always usually negotiate higher for you than you can for yourself, because we always have, I know, Darren.
I used to try and I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And you said, just hand them to me.
Yeah.
Duh. Hashtag duh. Don't do what I did.
Yeah, I think I'm going to soon dive into the psychology around that. There is something.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that and do a presentation for you guys and have something on that, because there's so much around that with value. And our friend Mark Stiving, he talks about selling on value and stuff. And so, but I digress. I will go back to that another time. But it's very important to be able to have somebody else be your champion and be able to talk for you, because it's so much easier to talk about somebody else than it is to talk about yourself. So,
real quickly, I want to go back to what you said earlier, because I've met presenters in my 30 years speaking who say, bureaus, well, you don't need them before they need you. And I forget how the quote works. You can clarify that. But there is, to me, in some ways, in some circles, a bit of cynicism towards bureaus. Could you address that real quickly and give us the quote again so we get familiar with the cliche, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. The quote is usually, you don't need a bureau until a bureau needs you. So meaning that oftentimes if a bureau doesn't know who you are, they will find out who you are when you've been booking enough events You have a good prolific social media page. People start hearing your name, or a client asks for you. So when a client is requesting you, that's when you get on our radar and we go, oh, okay. And then the reason why we don't actively go seek people out and or say yes when they just come on board and they want to get on top of on the Bureau website is because we don't know how good you are. We don't know. You might have great marketing. You might have a great promo reel that's 3 to 5 minutes long, but we don't know really how good you are. And our job is relying on how good the speaker is, because we need to look good to our client, because our client needs to look good to their client and or their boss. And so we go on tried and true, we go on references, we go on somebody who we know is amazing. And one of the things that proves that is, are you doing 20 to 30 events a year? Are you having a nice solid fee to your speaking? Because if you're speaking for 2,500, you might not be at the level that we're looking for our clients. And I will say, but typically there is, and that's actually a really good subject, is that typically a bureau fee or a bureau client is 10,000 and over. 7,500 is probably the lowest that they'll go with booking an event. And the reason why is because a bureau is bigger. They have to make sure that they're making the commission that's makes sense to run their own machine, the logistics coordinator, their own accounting people, their marketing people, blah, blah, blah. But now it's interesting. We are actually lacking and missing a solid base of 10,000 and under speakers. So if you're in that place and that's where you want to be, I'm seeing some, and I might have some, you have to come to Game Changers because I'm not going to tell you until you go there. So
nice.
Yeah, right. You like that. I'm going to release some information that is going to be mind blowing for you guys. And I can't wait to talk about this in that 10,000 and under speaker realm. So if you want to know this, you're going to have to come to Game Changers, or at least be on virtually.
Love it.
Was it? Okay.
Well done.
Okay.
Well done. If you're curious, go to stagetimelive.com. It's actually next week, but there's still time. You can still join us and get the replays.
Yeah.
But we'd love to have you live in Vegas. But hey, if virtual works, boom. We have an awesome smoking setup for virtual, by the way.
Yeah, you do.
3 cameras, roving, zooming. Yeah.
Amazing.
Not your typical. Anyway.
Amazing.
This is about you. This is about what we can learn from you.
So a couple more things on that topic is that, like I said, so we want somebody who's doing several, multiple events a year and really into a good place. And why speakers have, I think there's some kind of, what's that word when there's a stigma, I guess is, or there's a little stigma around some people in regards to bureaus, is they just don't have all the information, right? I think when people are afraid of something or they look down on something, it's because they don't understand it completely. Because there are a lot of people who love bureaus, and they built their businesses on bureaus. Because we are like, if you think about this, you're the product, we're the distributors. You're the product, we're the distributors. Because you can't ever put out your name as often as we would if you are friends with and connected with and romancing the bureaus and the bureau salespeople and the partners out there, because it is all about networking and getting your name around, right? And so they're putting you in proposals if you're if you're good enough to be put into proposals. And for that, we take a commission. So just for sake of round numbers, if it's $10,000, typically a typical bureau fee is 25%. Some are a little bit less, some are a little bit more. But we're running a business for that. You take care of nothing. You just show up and be brilliant. Our job is to do everything with the client, make sure it's seamless, make sure that they're taken care of and that they're happy for you, so that all you have to do is show up to the event, be brilliant, and they're waiting and ready for you. And it's just ease. It takes you hands off completely, not of the client, but of the process and of the mud that gets you stuck.
Yeah, and Mark and I can speak to that too, because you have a couple people that are your support team, Jenny and Cheryl, who Mark and I work with, and we're over in Istanbul, and they set up the ride that we have somebody when we land.
The ground transportation.
The ground transportation. We don't have to do that. Like my team and my business model, keynotes isn't the biggest part of it. However, I want to work on it. but I don't want to train my team to learn how to deal with contracts, do negotiating, do the ground transportation, do all of
and
that.
chase the information. Because remember, I think it was that one, and I think it was Istanbul, where they were just busy. They were so busy trying to, they were unlimited team members trying to put on this massive event. And so you guys, I don't think had I don't know if it was ground transportation or the hotel while you were in midair. Like we were trying to get this information from them so that we knew where you were going or who you were going to be met with, right? And so, but we're that team. We're your support team. And it's not like you're keeping us on retainer. It's not like you're having to pay us, thousands of dollars in salary a month. We take care of it for you, that event. And so, and also this too, is that in the commission side, we're your ancillary business. We're your added bonus for what you're currently doing. So when we bring you an event, we are taking a commission because it was our marketing dollars, it was our sweat equity and or our clients and things of that nature, right?
And it's your reputation too. That's the other thing, is working with a bureau, it's their reputation at stake. So if you're egotistical, if you're, I've been to an event where somebody booked by a bureau got drunk and was like flirting with people openly, and it was an issue, and that bureau is never going to forget that event and that person, and now they become a liability. They don't need that because it's the bureau's reputation.
Yeah, and we talk, FYI.
Bureaus talk to bureaus.
We are friends. We are in essence competitors, but we are colleagues and we support each other. We're in masterminds together. We're a very special industry, just like speakers are, just like NSA. So it's a beautiful thing on our side as well. We have a gorgeous community.
So a direct question for you. There are speakers who are hearing this who have never before worked at a bureau. How would you define or describe the relationship between the speaker and the bureau? Because I think the risk is run where somebody thinks, well, the bureau works for me. They're my hired hand. They're my hired help. But I tend to think it should be more of a partnership. For those who can't see, Darren's had his head in his hands. You can do an emoji for that, facepalm emoji. But really, what would you like everyone to know about the quote unquote ideal relationship between the bureau and the presenter?
It's for sure a partnership. I love that you said that word, because we want you to win. Like we want you to win. And for you to win and for us to get you to win, we need you to help us to have you win. And for you to help us, that means your marketing materials need to be on point. We need to hear from you when we reach out to you. We want to have fast response times. We want you to do your homework. We want you to prepare for your events. We want you to nail it when you go. We want you to knock it out of the park. We want you to be of service. We want to look good to our client, and it really is up to the speaker to do that. So on the pre-event call, one of the things I love about Darren and Mark is that, man, they have the servant's heart, and they're so servant minded. That they're always like, what can we do for you? How can we serve you? Can we show up?
Be your favorite.
Be my favorite, but also be the client's favorite. And, ask them when, there are a lot of speakers that if they say, hey, can you come in the night before and attend this event? Now, I understand that's not possible sometimes. And I understand that some speakers need their rest and everything. And I'm completely clear with that. But the speakers that fly in just before and fly out just after, I have a problem with. Sometimes it's schedules and sometimes it's necessary, and that I completely understand. But when it's not, and it's just their peace out, it just seems like they're going and collecting dollars and then leaving, and they don't care about the client, because that's what it's about, right? It's about caring about the client. And, one thing again that I'm gonna shower love on both of you is that you go to the event, you're there early, you're watching the other sessions, you're collecting data and information. And this is the beautiful part of this, is that when you go to your event early and you're sitting in on all the sessions, if you can, if it's not an 8 a.m. session for you, but if you're there the day before, go early. Go and see if you can sit, because you're gonna get so much information. And you're going to hear the president talk, maybe, or some other people talk. You're going to see what they have, and then you get to reflect those things in your presentation, and you look like the rock star, And that's, I think, what I know that you guys get that time after time, and there's several other speakers that do that too. And there's no amount of money that can pay for, or that can put a price on on serving that way, and then the reputation that you get. Because guess what? They talk as well, especially meeting planners. But they're going to tell their friends and, oh my gosh, these guys were really amazing. And that's how, you are making your way around this one organization, because people talk about what you do. People talk about not only the effect that you have and the transformation that you bring, but also who you are. Because guess what? You are not your presentation only. You are, it's when it's the moment, not just when you step into the building, it's the moment you take that first phone call and you're connecting with the client. It starts there. And then it goes into the moment that you step on property. And if I might say, it also should be the moment that you land in that city and you text either me and or the, most importantly, the meeting planner, that you let them know that you've landed. And you might think they don't care, they're too busy. Let me tell you, they love it. They love it. So it's really about the moment that you land, you're on, the clock is on, and the spotlight is on you and everything that happens there.
And I have a feeling when they get that text, they go,
oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And they may not be worried at all, but there's something about it that's right there. You're right.
It's a loop that's open.
Yeah, exactly.
They need it closed because they have 32 loops going on in their head.
Yeah, exactly.
And just that you landed safely is huge.
100%.
Huge. And that's why we've got to ask that question. How can we be your favorite? When Mark and I work with the client, we ask that. In the bureau, we ask that.
Yeah.
Because I want to know. And by the way, most people don't ask that.
No.
I want to know, what are their pet peeves? What makes them look good? Talking to you and Dia, another agent, it's like, I need an answer fast.
Yeah, my girl Dia from Speaker Exchange.
I need an answer fast.
Yeah.
Like if you get an email from a bureau, you get a phone call from a bureau, immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're in a meeting yourself and you can't, immediately
as soon
they
as you
need
can.
to respond.
Yeah, and the reason why is because our clients need the response, because we need to get them the information as fast as possible. If we don't get it from you, we're moving on. We can say, hey, sorry, we didn't hear from, Darren and Mark, but here, let me show you these other guys that you might want. And then you might list out on a gig.
It's not a 24-hour thing. It's a 24-minute thing.
Pretty much. I mean, we do want to hear within 30 minutes is wonderful. I mean, if it's, or even within an hour, but within that 30-minute window, even a text like, hey, I'm in a meeting or I'm on a plane or blah, blah, blah. What can I do for you? Oh, yes, I'm open. And for people, I've had responses where I don't have my calendar with me, but I'll be home, tonight. And I'm like, how do you not have your calendar with you? How do you
on your phone,
right? How do you not have that in this day's world? Exactly. And then also, or hey, can you send me because this is oftentimes like maybe you can text, say, yeah, I'm available. And I say, hey, can you send me your blah, blah, blah? Because I don't have either your bio or some specific information about a certain topic that I know you can deliver on. And the speaker says, you ready for this? It's on my website. Go, yeah. Now, both these guys are putting their heads in their hands. I know so many times. It's on my website. Go get it on my website. And I'm like, you know what? I could do that. But guess what? That's going to take me, I have to go to the website. I have to find the page. Hopefully it's in no place where I can find it. I have to download it. Hopefully it's downloadable. If it's in a PDF with branding, then I can't use it. Guess what? I've got to take all that information off of that branding PDF doc, which is going to turn out wonky anyway, put it into a Word doc so that I can put it into my proposal. Do you see all that? What you need to do working with a bureau, or actually any client, is take away the friction.
Take away the friction. There's a keeper. Take away the friction.
Take away
everything you do either gains you bureau points or loses you bureau points. There's no middle ground.
Yeah. And so if for people saying, well, what should I have? For instance, on that, always have your marketing materials. All of them have your bio, have your introduction, have your what else? Your tech needs, your tech writer, and all your speaking topics in a non-branded. Just a PDF, white page. It could have your name on it, but no other contact information, but easy, not in funky fonts, not in funky colors, just in black and white, so that you can have it for meeting planners, because not just for bureaus, it's for event planners, period. Because they're going to need the same thing. They don't want all your branding stuff either. Now, you can have a one sheet and it's beautiful. You can have all that as well in a separate place. And you can have it to send people for marketing purposes. But for us, make sure it's just easy to do business with you, because we're going to go, you don't know when we're going there too. Maybe I'm going to your website and I don't even tell you. And then I don't have it and I move on. And another thing, and who was it? One of our friends here in Las Vegas.
I knew exactly where we were going with this.
Okay, please have your videos shareable on your website. So if you have a YouTube video, typically you can, I can share that video specifically, just that link rather than sharing the whole website. If it's a Vimeo page, oftentimes people forget to make it shareable. Just it's a click.
It's in your default segment or on that specific video, you've got to make it that it's one click share.
Yeah.
She went off on us. Not even like this kind, sweet soul transformed. And I'll just leave it at that, but you can use your imagination. But she's adamant that look at we've got to be easy to do work work with.
Because I want you to think of this, and this is why I want, for people that say, oh, what's the big deal? Like, it's just a video. Well, if not just me, but if a meeting planner or maybe an executive assistant, this is what I want you to picture, an executive assistant going and getting video links of speakers for the CEO or another C-suite to look at, she's not going to send them a website for that speaker, for that CEO to dig and find the video. She's going to send a name and the video, and that's it. So if you can't do that, then you're not going to be in the conversation. So right now, I want you to think about what's keeping you from being in the conversation. What's landing you the gig, that's important. But what's keeping you from even just being in the conversation? That's important. Because if you're not in that, you're not getting the gig anyway, right? So little things, the PDFs, the making your video shareable. And so this is what we're going to go into now in moving towards all speakers, not just the ones that are working with the bureaus. This is what is costly mistakes that are very simple and easy to fix that are keeping you from being booked, period. And I see this because, we deal with such a large volume of speakers in different kinds. And it's ironic because sometimes I get a client bringing me a speaker I've never heard of, and that happens quite often. There are thousands out there that you don't even know that you're in competition with. I mean, thousands. And just when I think I've seen all the best, I hear of another one that I just was not in my universe. And just when you think you have it all, remember that we have such a small, limited view, maybe our NSA view or a small, limited view of what's in our stratosphere. But remember, there's multi-layers out there of other types of speakers who are doing different types of things that you just never know what you're against. So this is the biggest thing that I want you to think about for all of your marketing and why this is so important. Your messaging on your website and your speaking topics and descriptions, your titles and your descriptions have to align with your brand. They have to align with who you are and what you do and what you bring to the table. So I want you to think about this because so many people don't. No, this is not including Darren, because this man spends months thinking about this stuff, and you dissect it, which I love. But it's, what am I really doing, and what am I really saying, and what am I really bringing to the table? Because if you can't articulate that in written word, then people will not understand it and they'll move on. You don't know how many people are seeing your site and or seeing your information, even on a bureau page. Maybe you're on bureaus and you have all your information that's there. But if it doesn't make sense and it doesn't connect and it doesn't land, then they're moving on. And I don't want that to happen. If you are not so clear on what you deliver and for whom and how, and then the tools that come along with it, you're losing gigs. End of story.
Boom. Keeping you from getting booked.
Clarity, right, Darren?
Exactly.
We teach that.
Speaking.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly right.
Even more so, because you have seconds.
Yeah.
If we're on stage for an hour, we have a little grace that if it's not perfect, and they can sense our energy. When you're looking at a website or a demo video, if you're a potential client, it's like, peace out, I'm done. I get 12 other people who would love the gig.
Yeah.
So they're going to look at the one that's clear that like, ooh, my people need this.
Yes, and they're not going to stay on your website long too. So remember that. If they're on it for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. If it doesn't click and they go, oh, I'd like to see more, then they're on to the next. They're not even going to the second page, or they're not going to the speaking page. They're not going further if it doesn't make sense. And when you're thinking about your website and your marketing, what's on there? Is it all about you or is it all about your client? Meaning that, is it Jennifer Lier, I'm amazing. My clients think I'm the best thing in since sliced bread, and there's this testimonial, and I can do this, and I've done that, and da 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 da. But when are you talking about your client? When are you talking about what the problems are? When are you talking about how you understand them? Because if you don't, I mean, there might be still some people that are going to bring you in, of course, because that might be exactly what they're looking for. But to get it to go deeper and to get another percentage more, connect with them. Because just think about if you're in a conversation with somebody. If you're in a conversation with somebody and all you do is talk about yourself, and you never talk about them, who wants to be in that type of conversation? And it's your website's the same way. So now it's a conversation, if you can think about it that way. It's more of a person-to-person connection because people buy people, they don't buy brands. So I want you to make it a little bit more personal, a little bit more personable. And when you're very broad stroke, colorful language, but nothing's really clear and actionable, they'll also move on. And this is the reason why, is because people are too smart. Maybe 7 years ago, that would have worked, but not in today's world. Not in today's world. They just know too much.
Question for you. Someone says, okay, I want to work with a bureau. I hear about all these great bureaus. I want to work with them. What are some of the mistakes they make, and they wonder why they can't get a connection, they can't get a link? What should we not do, and what should we do?
Great question. Give us a reason to work with you. Okay, so bring us a gig. Because if we don't know you, right? If we don't know you, we're not going to take a chance on you. But if you bring us a gig and a booking and we work that with you, we see how you work, we see how you were at the client, we see the client's response to you after you present, you're in. I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple. And it's a 25% commission that you're going to pay to have a potential lifetime and multiple bureaus on your side. Because again, we talk. So if I bring somebody in, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, blah, blah, blah.
And when I think of the new emerging speakers, when me back in the 90s, I just thought, I just love what I do. I'm so passionate. I care about the audience. I just need someone to sell me.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
I know you probably never heard that before.
I've never heard that, ever. Ever. I hear that today all the time. This person needs to sell me. They need to sell me. I need to find somebody to sell me. And it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
So if you have that thought, you're not alone. There are gazillion speakers who think that. And look, I did too.
Yeah.
We got to realize that we need to get our videos, our demo, our copy on our marketing and our one sheets. Like, we have to make those so good we don't need someone, and then bring a gig to them with these great marketing materials.
Yeah, it really does help. And then on top of that, let us know, do you have a following? Where do you on, right? Do you have a YouTube page or YouTube channel? Do you have a great social media page? Are you prolific on LinkedIn? What are you doing? What are you giving? What's your background? There's a couple different schools of thought. I love a good story and a good transformation and a good, outcome. But that's hard to continue to sell. It's got to be very unique. It's got to be something that is not an everyday thing. There's elements to it. If you're transforming in something business-wise, then I want to know what that is and make it current. Maybe it's, hey, Jennifer, there's a lot of uncertainty and change going on right now. And a lot of companies are dealing with layoffs. There's a lot of people that are also, again, in fear right now. And because I happen to deal with a sector of government contractors, right? And, maybe it's looking into what's happening at this moment and just not a what do you call it, a newsletter or a funnel campaign, not a that, but an email to me to say, hey, I know this is going on. I think I can help your clients. And just bring something that's personal, because that's going to catch my attention. Bring something of value. And then I'm trying to think of what else as far as like working with a bureau. Don't just send a mug with your name on it or a book with your,
I can't even imagine how many of those you get. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. And you told me something, I believe it was you, where you said, look, if it's got your logo on it, that's not a gift.
No, that's exactly right.
That's a marketing tool. No matter what it is, if it's got your logo on it, that's not a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, I had somebody don't do this, but I had somebody send me sneakers, Nikes, which was amazing because at one time I was running a lot and I think I posted it or whatever, and they sent me some shoes and
that's nice.
Does it have their logo on it?
No, it had Nike's logo. but I just you get somebody's attention in a great way, and then just remember that we've got thousands of speakers that we work with. And not that I work with thousands in particular, but we've got thousands on the website usually. Like there's up to 4,000 or 5,000 speakers probably or more. I don't know over the time, but I'm also doing, I'm doing a few hundred events or involved in a few hundred events a year. So I've got speakers texting me and emailing me. So if you find my email address or anybody's email address and you are emailing them, if they don't get back to you, don't keep emailing them. And this is, but I understand on the sales side, you want to keep following up and saying, hey, I know you probably didn't see my email, blah, blah, blah. And hey, again, just, letting you know. A tactic that I would take is hey, I know you're busy and I know you're overwhelmed. I just want to introduce myself and know that I am here for you and this is what I do and this is how I can do it. And then maybe you send another one in a month or so, but it's not like if trying to get my attention, because I have bureau reps that they never answer speakers that they don't know email because they can't. There's no time in the day. There's no time in the day.
Bring them a gig, give up the commission, and develop a relationship.
Yep, absolutely.
So, Mark, we got to honor Jennifer's time here.
Yeah. A few more minutes.
I do want to ask her one more question, though.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's a little off topic, Jennifer, but I know the idea of client calls, pre-event calls, and so on with the client. And sometimes it's a speaker, your bureau is working with you, you get the gig, and you plan your pre-event calls with the client. Do you find that some speakers exclude the bureau until the very last minute or bring the bureau in on those calls early? What's a good rule or guide for having the bureau involved at that level of the process?
You mean when you're bringing your bureau into an event, when you're gifting it? Right in the beginning, because if you're bringing us an event for us to see how you work and also get to know this client, we want to build the relationship with the client as well. So the moment that you know that a client's interested and or ready to go to contract, or the earlier the better, so that we can, number one, advocate for you and advocate on the fee if we need to. But also so that we can build that rapport with the client, and it's not an awkward, because you bring us in at the end, then all it is a contract, and then we don't have that.
Right. Yeah, I because I know it's easy to say, okay, I'll work with the client, but I want to make sure I get the right dollar, the high dollar. So at the last minute, hey, here's my my business manager, and they'll negotiate the fee for you. But you kind of come in, you don't know the background. Right. It could be awkward for you. So we recommend our viewers and listeners, if you're going to be involved in a bureau in a cycle, get them involved in the entire cycle of the engagement, from the word go all the way through. And Darren and I can attest just to how happy we are with you, Jennifer, and your team. I think at one point we got hold of Jenny. It was probably 4 a.m. We're in the air, and I text her, and it was, but she answered. We landed, and she answered. Like, wow, she was up, and we really appreciate that. But that couldn't have been effective had we brought you in at the very tail end of the negotiations and the communication with the client. So we appreciate that answer very much.
We want to know the nuances. We want to know that that the personality of the client, what they're doing, what the challenges they have, and but also we also want to have, like I said, that long-term relationship. So when you bring us a client, I mean, odds are you're probably not going to speak to that particular client again. Oftentimes, speakers don't speak to clients in multiple times in a row. So we'll keep that client and nurture that event. And so that's a big gift that you would bring someone. And I want you to treat it that way. I want you to treat it with kid gloves. It's not a throwaway. It's something that we are going to build with that client so that we can then keep it for a long time. So it's it's respecting that gift and the way that it works in that partnership. So that a couple last things before I go is it's so funny because I didn't know we were going to go this way, but this is great because I have so much more to say. You have to come to Game Changers because I'm going to do a presentation for an hour on the things that you don't even know is keeping you from getting booked. And this stuff, I'm telling you, this is gold. This is such gold to hear this information. But one of the other things is on your website, this we found out. So remember that the younger generation is coming up. And the millennials and Gen Z, they don't want to send, they want to text, FYI, they want to call and they want to text. They don't just want to send an email and a contact form, they'll do it. But if they see a phone number there that they can text, get a text number if you don't want to put your cell phone number. Get a text number or a Google Voice number.
Google Voice number. I did that.
Yep. And it goes on your phone. And then when you get a message from that, it's from your website. They call or they text, and it's a great way to have another number or way to get a hold of you that's immediate rather than a 1-800 line or a number that nobody answers. And because that happens. And then you lose, like I said, just minimizing friction. Minimizing steps, minimizing friction. If it's a one-stop shop, man, you're in like Flynn. So just to recap a little bit on this before I get going is making sure that your website looks great. You have a beautiful promo video. And by the way, people are wanting longer videos. So yes, a 3-minute to 5-minute video is good in a sizzle reel, but you need to have a solid 30-minute video in your back pocket. Not that you have to have it anywhere living outside, but make sure that you have it at the palm of your hand to be able to send. I didn't close the loop on the other one on the materials for the meeting planners and stuff too. Have it on your phone somewhere. So if you're out and about and somebody needs your information, just have a folder that you can send right away or a Dropbox link. So just have it in your notes so that you can just copy the link and paste it into an email. Just think ahead, for stuff like that to be so on the ready for things. So making sure you have a great photo, a great website, a great photo, a great video, a longer video somewhere so that you can show that you've really got the goods because people are getting questionable because marketing's getting so good. So that's the talk around the bureau world and also the meeting planner world. So be careful. Make sure that you can actually do what you say you can do and
deliver.
Right? Be really vigilant around your copy on your website and all your materials and how you describe who you are, your branding, what you do, why you do it, and how you do it, and then what your speaking topics are. And make sure this is aligned in your brand. Make sure your website's personal, that it talks about you and what you do and who you are, because people are going to buy you. Because remember, I'm going to show you this. For stuff, people buy a brand. For a phone, I buy Apple. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to buy an iPhone no matter what. But for people, I'm going to buy that person. So I need to know who they are. I have to look, right behind the curtain. And then making sure that you're easy to work with and responsive. And if you want to work with a bureau, bring them a gig, get them to get to know them. And, it's not that it's hard. It takes a few steps. But it's doable. And this is a career. And remember, you are a company, you're the brand, you are also the product. So it's like any other business. You have to treat it as a business and you know that it's going to take work.
It's a team.
It is a team
effort. Absolutely. And be the person they want on their team. Boom. Mark Brown, what do we got for keepers?
Oh man, I'm going to start with the very end. You are the company, the brand, and the product. Look, it's hard for you to negotiate your own gigs. Let your bureau be your advocate. Bureaus, they don't seek you out, but bring them a gig so they'll work with you. Look, they look for people who have 25 to 30 events a year, generally. And most bureaus, they want speakers who are about 10 grand or more. But Jennifer Lier, if you come to Game Changers, will show you the value you can get if you're a $10,000 or less speaker. So come to Game Changers. Okay. You are the product. The bureau is your distributor, and you should treat your bureau as your partner because they want you to win. They care about you and they care about the client. And by the way, be nice to them because bureaus talk to each other and they take away the friction. Make sure you have marketing materials that are non-branded the bureau can use. Details are in the program. Make your demo video shareable so people can share it. And again, non-branded is good. and ask yourself what's keeping you from being accessible. Your website content must align with your brand and be clear on everything you do and everything you are. Check your site. Is it really all about you or about how you can serve your client? Give the Bureau a reason to work with you. They want to build a relationship with you and with the client as well. We do this right, can be a great partnership, and it's a win-win for everybody. Thank you so much, Jennifer Lier. I got a mouthful, a handful, and a mindful from these nuggets. Darren?
Oh, Paul, did I give you enough value in this 30 minutes?
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
And if you're going to join us for Game Changers, go to stagetimelive.com, stagetimelive.com, and use Jennifer's code. Give Jennifer credit. Jennifer20 gets you 20% off. Sincerely, thank you for being here. Can't wait to share the stage with you. And Mark, if we're nice, she might even sing. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay, the thing is, Darren, I don't know if our viewers caught this, but she showed us her iPhone just now. On the front, on her homepage, is a picture of you doing who?
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. Jennifer did Marilyn Monroe on the Strip in Vegas for how many years?
Oh my gosh, 15 around the country. I still get requests for it. I turn it down now, but I still get requests for it around the country.
Nice.
See how quick my eyes are? I saw that. Anyway, go ahead, Darren. Bring us home.
Talented, remarkable, and thank you for sharing all that value with us. We are thrilled to have you here and can't wait to see you next week in Vegas.
Honored to be here. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Take care, Jennifer.
Make sure you subscribe to our show.
Remember to subscribe.
Hey there, this is Darren LaCroix. Thanks for checking out this podcast episode on YouTube. If you want all of them, not every one is on YouTube, check out your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. Keep being a sponge so you can be unforgettable.
Check out StagetimeUniversity.com, where good presenters become unforgettable.